Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. So, for many leaders, tis the season. It is time to start working on performance evaluations. They take a lot of time and they're really important. And I wanted to share a little bit about my thoughts on the process. So, if your organization requires employees to complete self evaluations, you will hear for sure during the course of your career that it makes the employee feel as if they're doing a leader's job by doing a self-evaluation. And so leaders, if you're hearing from your team that the evaluation is your job to do as a leader, they're not wrong. Ultimately, it is. But the message that I try to convey to teams that I work with is that the self-evaluation is a way for you to reflect on the year and make sure that I didn't miss something really important. Because great employees do a lot of great things, and they aren't necessarily barging into your office every day to tell you about them. And if you're a leader of a highly engaged and successful team, there's probably way more that you don't know about what was accomplished in the year. So ask your team to share these things with you. And ideally, you're talking about them more frequently in your one-on-ones and your quarterly performance evaluations. But this is the time. So I always encourage my team to spend lots of time on this task. Think of it as your final paper of the year, and to make sure that you really sit with it and really think about what you've done. Tell me honestly how you did. Don't overinflate it. Don't underappreciate it. Tell me honestly how you did. And my commitment has always been that your self-evaluation will never result in my rating you less than I did in my preliminary rating, but it absolutely could result in my giving you a better one. And so leaders, your responsibility here is to review your associates' feedback about themselves, but resist this temptation to restate what the employee said about themselves, or things like, I agree, or like Nicole said above. This is how we get the reputation about self-assessments. Your associates deserve your view on their performance in your own words, and take the time to give it to them because they've earned it. And these should be paragraphs long, not just a few simple statements. Never let a performance evaluation be the first time that you've discussed a performance issue. I made that mistake the first time I led a team, and I was fortunate enough to have someone hold me accountable for that. You have to have the leadership courage to address those things as they happen in real time and in a different setting. And if it's substantial and needs to be part of the evaluation record, it should be no surprise to the person receiving that feedback. And remember, an isolated mistake is not necessarily a performance issue. Now, my favorite topic, and probably the most controversial part of the topic, is about performance ratings. Most employers have a pretty simple scale, something along the lines of 1 to 5. 1 being not meeting expectations at all, 5 meaning I've blown everything out of the water and I couldn't have gotten any better. Where a rating of 3 means you typically meet performance expectations. So a rating of 4 exceeded, 5 exceptional, 2 means improvement, 1 means you did not meet expectations, right? So I want to ask you a question, that when did meeting the expectations of the job become something to be ashamed of? I can't tell you the number of times I've had to talk an associate off the ledge because I told them they did a really good job by giving them a rating of a 3, a meets expectations rating. So let's play this out a little bit. Hey, Nicole, I wanted to thank you for taking care of that for me. You did exactly what I needed. I can't tell you how nice it is that I always know that you'll meet my expectations. That feels pretty good, right? Then why do we reject the 3? The majority of the people in our organization should be solid 3 performers. And we shouldn't feel bad about it. And we seem to correlate those ratings somehow with the way that we got grades in school. So if I rate you a 3, it makes an associate feel like they're a C student. But that's so wrong. It's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. So we tend to think that that 5 is the A, and that the 4 is the B, the 3 is a C. We have to let that go. Be honest with yourself when you're doing your self-evaluation, and be honest with your team when you're evaluating them. Don't be ashamed to tell anyone that they always meet your expectations. There are goals and expectations that I don't always meet. Those might deserve a 2. I earned that 2. I did a lot of the work, but I didn't bring it home. Other goals and expectations, I knock out of the park. I did more than what was asked, and I earned that for. But most of the time, even at my best, I'm a solid meets expectations employee, and that makes me really proud. But now we have some unraveling to do. Most organizations really struggle with this concept. Just because they're the top performer on your team doesn't necessarily mean they all exceed expectations, and that's okay. If you have a team who largely gets ratings of in that 4 to 5 category, you better be working to promote them or give them increased responsibilities and reset the expectations. I'm not saying it's unacceptable to have a team where there are some or many. There are times when that is completely appropriate. But if you have a team whose majority is consistently overachieving, are your expectations realistic? And I know that these ratings are tied to pay, and that's why there's so much sensitivity around it, and it means so much to the associate. And as leaders, we have to be really good at setting reasonable expectations. We have to coach our team on the importance of being realistic and with how you'll approach that performance evaluation cycle. And they have to trust that the money will work itself out. And I encourage all of you at the end of the day, today or any day, to ask yourself a simple question. Did I meet expectations today? And be proud if the answer is yes. Take care. Hope you're doing well.